Westside Gunn?
When did I meet Westside Gunn? I met Westside Gunn for the first time, and I'm gonna keep this story really short. At the opening of his Buffalo Kids store, store/gallery in the Galleria Mall, which is historic in itself.
Yeah.
He basically, it was a major. Have you been to the Galleria before?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. So he basically got a store in the Galleria Mall, Buffalo Kids. He had his, but not only that, he had his, he's really into wrestling, always has wrestling references.
Always.
In his music. And so he got a lot of, bigger wrestlers that's in Buffalo or from Buffalo, and he had their, signs all across Galleria. So not just where the store is, but, all across the Galleria, which I thought was really dope. But I met him at the opening of his Buffalo Kids store at the Galleria Mall. This was maybe 2022. And this might have been 2021.
Okay.
I can't remember. Either 2021 or 2022. I think 2021 now, I'm thinking about it. So basically, long story short, everyone was telling me, get there early, because it's going to be packed. And obviously it was. I get there late, very late with my sister, and our goal was to see if we can get an interview with Westside Gunn. We knew it was a long shot because it was going to be packed. All the news people were going to be there, and we were like, yeah. So we get there. Line is maybe 10, 20 feet away from the entrance of the store. So the line is hella long. We're all the way at the end. I'm like, I don't think we're gonna make it, but we're gonna try. So we stood there only a couple minutes, maybe 5 minutes we stood there. I bumped into a couple people that I know. And then I bump into a person who's a part of kind of Westside Gunn's entourage at the time. He was working on, I believe he was working on a movie with Benita Butcher and Westside Gunn. I forgot what the movie. I'm doing horrible right now. I should know this as a Buffalo aficionado.
No, you know a lot of things, Schondra. It's okay.
Yeah, but Benita Butcher was in a Conflicted. That's what it was. Benita Butcher was in a movie called Conflicted, and this this guy who I was starting to build a relationship with, just because he was doing a lot of dope work in the community, he was part of Conflicted. So he bumps into me and he's like, "What are you doing at the back of the line?" And I'm like, I'm here. I'm waiting to get inside. He's like, "No, you're media. Come to the front." So me and my sister follow him to the front.
So he knew you from all that work you did before?
Yeah, so he knew me because he was doing a lot of community. Beside his work with Conflicted and working with Benny the Butcher and Griselda and everything, he was doing a lot of community work, really supporting the black youth in Buffalo. So there's this Afrofuturist group called Wakanda Alliance. Shout out to Wakanda Alliance. And he was working on Wakanda Alliance at the time. And I started going to some of their workshops and stuff. And so we kind of developed a really cool friendship. So he sees me, he's like, come to the front. And so we come to the front, he lets us into the space, and I'm like, wow, that is crazy. In a matter of a couple minutes, we were standing at the back of the line, feet down, and now we're in the front, and I just felt blessed in that moment. And so obviously I'm trying to work my magic, okay, so we're getting footage, but I really would like to get that interview. That's my goal. That was my goal, to get that interview with Westside Gunn. And so I see another fellow that I did not know at the time, but I saw him, within Westside Gunn's group, called D-Jack. Shout out to D-Jack. He's a mover and shaker in Buffalo, always involved in what's next in Buffalo, and he's always doing something dope. Always kind of behind the scenes, but he's always doing dope things. So shout out to D-Jack. And I asked D-Jack, I was like, hey, I think he was doing some managerial work for Griselda or Westside Gunn. I'm not sure exactly what the specifics were, but he was working for them and doing work with them. And so I asked him, I was like, hey, do you think we can get an interview with Westside Gunn? He was like, I'm not sure. He's been interviewed all day. I'm like, yeah, I know. I want to at least try. And he came back. He was like, you know what? Actually, Westside Gunn, he's willing to do the interview. We did it right on there on the spot. Westside Gunn is a cool dude, swaggy dude, very man of few words. He says a lot with those few words though. And it was a dope experience. He was cool. We took a picture. We had a little photo op. His gallery was awesome. It was dope to see so many local artists. The thing that really makes me happy too is that there are a lot of artists, brown and black artists particularly, that make amazing art. But they never get the opportunity to share their art or display their art or install their art where the larger Buffalo community can see it, and even beyond that, the larger mainstream community can see it. So for Westside Gunn to have a piano fully painted by True EV, who's been doing art in Buffalo and art in New York City. He's doing amazing things now. To have a cardboard cutouts from I'm gonna pronounce his name wrong. Tayshian, I think his name is. He's from New York City, but he went to UB, I believe. A dope, humble artist that was doing amazing stuff at UB. To have his cardboard work, he specializes in making these amazing, almost like comic book pieces out of cardboard. It's phenomenal. And there was some other artists in there. I can't remember all of them, but there was some other artists in there. A lot of local talent that was just displayed so beautifully and so upper echelon, and I was obsessed with that. So that was just one story, but yeah, it was great meeting Westside Gunn.